My sister mocked me at my mom's birthday party. Look at this fool, he gave her only flowers. Mom laughed loudly and told everyone to laugh, but everyone was silent. I smiled, refused to pay for a seat at the restaurant, and left. This morning when I turned on my phone, I saw 27 missed calls. I called back and then Megan decided that this year was going to be next level. That's how she sold it. It's Mom's 58th, not her 60th, so no one's expecting anything. So let's go all out. She chose peek at Hudson Yard's top floor, glass walls, views of the city like you're in a drone shot. The kind of place where the menu has no prices and the staff wears suits that cost more than my college rent. There were 19 people on the guest list, but I knew it was going to balloon the moment she got her hands on the invite list. Cousins I hadn't seen in 5 years, her boyfriend of 3 months, 2 girls she runs a yoga podcast with, even a random guy from her building who is apparently a brand consultant. She called me and said that Mom deserved something big. I told her I'd pay for it. That was 3 weeks ago. I meant it. My paycheck was due 3 days before the dinner. I checked with HR twice. It would be tight, but I figured I'd make it. Except on the morning of the dinner, I opened my banking app and saw a message that made my stomach turn. Deposit delayed due to processing error. Expect funds within 3 business days. I called HR. They gave me a canned apology about banking systems. I didn't tell Megan. I didn't tell Mom. I figured I'd figure it out. Maybe ask for a day or 2 to pay them back. What I didn't expect was how the whole night would turn out. I arrived at peak just after everyone was seated. I was the last one there on purpose. I walked in with a bouquet of red peonies, Mom's favorite. I used to get them for her from the bodega when I was a kid. This time they flew in from Amsterdam. It cost me more than I should have, considering I was broke. I handed them to her. She looked happy for maybe half a second. Then Megan, sitting 2 seats over, leaned over and said loud enough for the whole damn table, "Look at that idiot, he just gave her flowers." And Mom laughed. Not a quick laugh. A real one. Then, like she was hosting a roast, she looked around and said, "Everybody, laugh." It didn't land. The table went quiet. One of my cousins looked down at his cell phone. Another took a slow sip of wine. Even Megan's boyfriend didn't crack a smile. I stood there for maybe 3 seconds. Then I nodded, turned, and left. I didn't say anything. Didn't look back. I went straight home, turned off my phone, and didn't touch it again until morning. When I turned it back on, the missed calls started rolling in. 27 in all. Megan, Mom, 2 from my aunt, 1 from a cousin, and 1 from a number I didn't recognize. I called Mom first. She picked up right away. "So you're just leaving?" I didn't answer. "You said you would pay. You swore." Megan had to put the whole thing on her card, and it almost got rejected. I had to pay the rest. Do you have any idea how embarrassing that was? I told her I didn't get paid. HR screwed up. I would have been paid in a few days. Why didn't you say anything? You told everyone to laugh at me. Oh, come on, you can't take a joke? Then she said something that stuck. You walked out on your own mother. After everything I've done for you. Then Megan picked up the phone. You owe me $4,100. You embarrassed us. You made Mom cry. I hope you're proud of yourself. I didn't respond. 3 hours later, I got a Venmo request from Megan, $4,100. The caption, because your ego can't take a joke. Then the texts started rolling in. One from my cousin Riley, are you okay? That was brutal last night. Another from my aunt, I honestly don't blame you for leaving. That was messed up. Then a DM from a friend of Megan's from the yoga podcast. I didn't even know she knew my last name. She just said it. That was super unfair. You seemed like the only sane one there. And that's when something shifted. Because as much as they were trying to make me the villain, it felt like the tide was starting to turn. The Venmo request sat there all morning. $4,100. Megan had even added a little glitter emoji next to it, like it was some kind of cute joke. It wasn't. Around noon, I started getting added to group chats. First, the Carter family one, which is usually dead unless someone's selling Girl Scout cookies or there's a funeral. It lit up with messages. And Denise, I just wanted to say that I think what happened to Alex was wrong. Uncle Brad, I agree. That was mean. Cousin Troy, Mom laughed like she was hosting SNL. I didn't like it. Aunt Denise again, also, why do you need 19 people for a 58th birthday? Who is she trying to impress? Then someone added Megan. She didn't say anything for about 10 minutes, then answered, You all sound crazy. He left us with a bill. We were humiliated. You don't even know the whole story? I almost replied. I typed. The story is that I got laughed at like I was 12 again. Only this time it cost you $8,000. But I deleted it. Instead, I screenshotted the Venmo request and dropped it into the group chat. Cousin Troy, $4,100? LOL, is that a wedding or a dinner? Aunt Denise, you're seriously asking your own brother for that? Megan, he promised to pay. This is not about the flowers. This is about being responsible. Riley, no, it's about respect. And that didn't happen last night. And then the real surprise hit. I got a phone call from my dad. He never calls. We're close, but he's a quiet man who avoids drama like it's an infectious disease. When I picked up the phone, he didn't yell. He just asked, Are you okay? I said yes. He sighed. Your mom and Megan are planning something. Some kind of public apology thing for the next family gathering. They think it'll make them look big-hearted. I thought you should know. I blinked. Apology? They're going to make a speech, pretend to forgive you, try to spin the story in their favor. Megan's already texted the family group with a fake outline saying she's taking the high road. I just wanted you to be prepared. I didn't say anything at first. Then he added, You've done enough for them. Maybe it's time they found out how it feels. That's when something changed. The embarrassment? Gone. The guilt? Gone too. You wanted to go public with a speech? Fine. You had no idea what I had planned. You picked Uncle Brad's anniversary party for your grand entrance, right? The guest list was full. 40+ people. Family, friends, even a few people from Uncle Brad's office. Everyone knew something had happened at Mom's birthday dinner, and Megan wanted to own the story. Mom, of course, went along with it. What they didn't know was that I had already contacted Uncle Brad. I told him the whole story 2 days before the event, not just the flowers or the dinner, but everything, years of being treated like an afterthought in my own family. He listened. Then he asked a question. Do you want 5 minutes or 10? That night, the place was lit up like a wedding. Big white tent, linens everywhere, a jazz trio in the corner. I arrived early. Megan and Mom arrived 30 minutes late, making sure everyone saw them. Matching beige outfits, sunglasses on inside. Like they'd just come off a reality show shoot. Megan caught my eye from across the tent. She gave me that smug look you give someone when you're convinced they've already lost. They waited until everyone had finished the main course. Then Megan stood up and clinked her glass. She didn't even look at Uncle Brad, just said, I hope it's okay if we talk for a moment. No one was going to say no in front of all those people. Mom stood next to her, all polished and rehearsed. Megan began. Family isn't easy. We all make mistakes. Some more than others. But forgiveness is how we grow. She spoke as if she were accepting an award for Most Emotionally Mature Woman of the Year. She went on about how sometimes people don't hold up their end of the bargain, and how others have to step in when that happens. She kept looking at me, not directly sideways, subtly, but it was clear who the speech was about. We shouldn't let small disappointments poison deep bonds, she said, as if I had stolen a kidney, not skipped a check because my paycheck was late. Then she wrapped it up with a masterpiece. We forgive because we love. That's what this family is built on. Applause. Some polite, some confused. Then Uncle Brad stood and cleared his throat. Alex has something to say too. I stood. Took a second. Then walked slowly forward. Thanks. This won't take long, I said, pulling a folded piece of paper out of my jacket pocket. I held it up. This is a letter from my company's Human Resources Department confirming that my paycheck was delayed due to a system error. 3 days. That's all I needed. I'd already promised to pay for dinner. And I would have. I still intend to. I handed it to Aunt Denise, who was sitting at the corner table. But that's not really the point, is it? The room fell silent. Even the jazz trio stopped. The point is what happened when I gave my mother flowers, her favorite flowers, by the way. Red peonies. She kept dried ones in her room. I gave them to her, and instead of a thank you, I got this. Look at that fool, he just gave her flowers. That was my sister. And my mother? She laughed. Then she told the whole table to laugh. No one said a word. Megan shifted in her seat. And now, days later, I'm getting Venmo requests, texts calling me selfish, and tonight I'm hearing about forgiveness. Forgiveness for what, exactly? For leaving instead of staying to be mocked? For not being the family ATM that night? I pulled out another piece of paper. This is the paid receipt from Peak. I went back. I paid the bill. Full amount. Tip included. And I didn't ask any of them to pay me back. So if anyone here is wondering, no one was left hanging. Megan's mouth twitched. Mom stared at the floor. But while we're making speeches, I added, I have one more thing. I reached into my jacket again. Pulled out a flash drive. This drive has a recording of the dinner. Audio. Courtesy of your friend Lexi. I turned to Megan. She thought what happened was so bizarre that she started recording. She sent it to me after she heard you spin the story online. I've already sent it to a few people. But I'm also sending it to your sponsor. The skincare one. You know, the one who preaches women supporting women and respect in the media? A few people gasped. Megan's face fell. Mom reached for her glass, but missed. And as for this narrative that I'm cold or dramatic, I just want to say this. I didn't leave to hurt anyone. I left because I was tired of being the only one in the family who was supposed to keep quiet. The only one who's supposed to laugh it off. I stepped back. That ends tonight. I went back to my seat. Uncle Brad raised his glass. Well, that was honest. Dessert, anyone? And just like that, everything changed. But that wasn't the end of it. Because the next morning, my inbox was full. Not just family. Sponsors. Brands. Journalists. Turns out someone leaked the audio before I could. It started around 6:40 the next morning. I was still half asleep when my phone started vibrating nonstop on my nightstand. Not just text calls, emails, notifications piled up so high they looked like some kind of digital avalanche. At first, I thought it was the family drama from the night before. But this was different. The subject lines in my inbox read like headlines. Immediate attention required, audio circulation, statement needed, brand conflict with public conduct, audio of dinner incident now public, media requests for comment on family dinner recording. I clicked on one, then two. Then it hit me. The recording of the birthday dinner, the one Lexi had made on her cell phone without anyone noticing, was out there. Not just emailed to a few people. Not quietly passed around. It had gone public. Someone had uploaded it to Reddit. The thread was titled, When an Influencer Gets Too Comfortable. Family Drama at Hudson Yards. It already had over 20,000 upvotes. The post had one clip, just a minute long. But it was enough. You heard Megan's voice, unmistakable. Look at that idiot, he just gave her flowers. Then Mom's laugh, and her follow-up. Everybody laugh. The comments were brutal. People dissected every word. They found Megan's Instagram, screenshotted her latest motivational caption about celebrating the little things, and tore it apart. Someone even pulled clips from her podcasts where she preached gratitude and empowering women. The hypocrisy was feeding on itself. I hadn't leaked anything yet. I hadn't touched the flash drive or forwarded the recording. But someone had. And they'd gone big. By 9 a.m., 3 of Megan's brand sponsors had emailed her. One of them accidentally forwarded the statement to me. I was CC'd because they assumed I was her manager. Behavior inconsistent with the values we promote. Partnership put on indefinite hold, pending further review. Then my cousin Riley called. I picked up, thinking it might be about Uncle Brad's fallout or some attempt to smooth things over. She didn't even say hello. Dude, did you leak it? No, I said. But I knew it was coming. Lexi did. She said. She was at brunch with some girls, telling the story, and one of them challenged her. She said she was tired of watching Megan treat people like crap and pretend she's the good one online. I sat in silence, trying to take it in. By noon, Megan's podcast had gone offline. Every episode deleted. Her Instagram was locked. Sponsors began issuing short, vague statements about reevaluating partnerships. One of her gym friends unfollowed her. 2 of the girls she'd invited to her birthday dinner posted subtle subtweets. You know the kind. Energy doesn't lie. Neither does sound. Then came Mom's text. You destroyed your sister's career. Over what? Flowers? A bill? How can you be so vindictive? Don't come to Thanksgiving. Don't text me. You're not the victim here. I stared at the screen, not surprised. I was expecting it, honestly. What got me wasn't the rejection. It was how quickly she chose sides. Again. I responded with a line. You're right. I'm not the victim. I just stopped playing that role. She didn't respond. But then something unexpected happened. A DM popped up on my Instagram. No name. Just a blank profile. You should see what your sister has been saying about you for the last 6 months. Want the screenshots? At first I thought it was a troll. But curiosity got the better of me. I replied. Yes. Show them to me. The screenshots started coming in. Messages from a group chat called Podcast Queens. Megan, 2 girls I didn't know, and Lexi. Months back. Page after page. Things Megan said about me. About Mom. About our family. Jokes at my expense, some cruel. One message stood out. He's useful when I need to make things look normal. He's basically a bench with feelings. A bank with feelings. There it was. The summary of how my own sister saw me. But there was something else in the screenshots, something I hadn't expected. Something that changed everything. Because hidden between the sarcasm and the trash talk was a plan. A conversation in which Megan admitted that she and Mom had deliberately set me up at dinner. That the laughter wasn't spontaneous. That Mom knew about the flower joke before I even walked in. That the whole thing was premeditated. And that made it personal. I went over these screenshots at least 5 times. Every time I found something worse. The group chat wasn't just casual gossip, it was strategy. Megan laying out her little vision board for humiliation. Screenshots of flower arrangements. A poll among her friends about the best way to lighten the mood. When I gave Mom the bouquet, one of the girls even commented, "Do the everybody laughs thing again like at her 50th. That was iconic." So that wasn't spontaneous. It wasn't a joke that went too far. It was a stunt. They planned the exact moment to embarrass me in front of 24 people. And Mom? She was in on it. She laughed on cue because it was rehearsed. Lexi sent a final message. There's more. You know about the bank thing, right? She used your name to apply for a card. I felt my chest go cold. I called my bank right away. After 20 minutes of transfers and holds, the representative confirmed it. A credit card in my name. Opened 6 months ago. The primary email wasn't mine, but the mailing address? Mom's house. Authorized user, Megan Carter. When I asked how she pulled this off, the agent hesitated. Sometimes when family members have access to older tax information, it's not that hard. We're sorry this wasn't caught sooner. $3,600 balance. All the beauty subscriptions, plane tickets, boutique hotels. And I'd never seen a single statement. Now it was real. I wasn't just a walking wallet. I was a counterfeit one. That night I sat on my couch and thought about all the years I had shown up with gifts, paid for dinners, covered Mom's. Forgotten. Car insurance, Megan's. Just until I get my next check. Phone bills. I thought about being the responsible one. The one who kept the peace. The one who always took the high road. Then I grabbed a notebook and made a list. Not an angry list. A surgical one. Step 1, Megan's sponsors done. Step 2, expose the card fraud. But not just by the bank. Through people who care. People in the public eye. Step 3, use your own playbook. With a twist. But first, I had to check one last thing. I texted Lexi. Did she ever mention what she planned to do next? After the podcast? She replied within minutes. Yes. She was pitching a reality pilot. Said it was going to be called Family First. Wanted to look like a girl who rebuilt broken relationships. You were part of it. She was gonna forgive you on camera. My stomach turned. They weren't just trying to humiliate me. They were using me to build a brand. Everything that happened at Peak, the recording, the forgiveness speech, even the fake family drama, it was meant to be filmed. A performance. The audio leak? It didn't just ruin their plan. It stole the climax of Megan's new reality arc. No wonder they were distraught. And that was when I knew exactly how to end this. Not petty. Not loud. Just public, undeniable, and surgical. My revenge wasn't going to be a moment. It would be a mirror. And it was already in motion. I spent the next week quietly. I didn't post anything, didn't respond to Megan's half-hearted attempts at reconciliation or the "let's move on from the drama" texts from Mom that felt more like PR control than concern. I wasn't interested in round 2. I wasn't angry anymore. I was focused. I called the credit card company, gave them everything: screenshots, identification, even Lexi's chat logs. They closed her account in less than 48 hours. Then I filed a fraud report. Not because I needed the money back I could cover the $3,600, but because I needed a paper trail. That same day, I had lunch with Riley, the cousin who never liked Megan very much to begin with. She brought a flash drive. "You're going to want to see this," she said. It was a Zoom call recording. Megan, Mom, and 2 of Megan's friends. Planning. Practicing how they talk about Alex's coldness, forgiveness, rebuilding a broken family, and how Mom never gave up on him. They even had talking points. And guess what? Lexi was on the phone. Quiet. Camera off. The whole thing recorded. That night, I uploaded a 3-minute clip to a new YouTube account. No commentary. Just my own words. The title? The Forgiveness Script Unedited. It went viral in less than 12 hours. Subreddits picked it up immediately. TikTok picked it up by the afternoon. Commenters started picking it apart. People compared Megan to every fame-hungry TV personality they could think of. But the hardest part was the silence. Mom and Megan didn't respond. Not publicly. Because this wasn't a situation they could spin anymore. But I had one last step. Thanksgiving was 2 weeks away. Despite Mom's text telling me not to come, I showed up anyway, invited by Uncle Brad and Riley, who were now hosting since the drama had broken everything. I walked in smiling. People came up to me, shook my hand, told me I handled everything with class and precision. An uncle even called me Alex Wick. I'll take that. Then Mom walked in. Alone. No Megan. The room went silent for a second, and then things just went on. Conversation, drinks, food. But no one gave her the spotlight. For the first time in years, she wasn't the center of attention. After dinner, I stood up. I just wanted to say something quickly. I know the last few weeks have been chaotic. And loud. But I'm grateful for the people who reached out, who stood up, who didn't laugh. I turned to Mom. I'm not angry anymore. But I'm not playing games either. I'm done pretending. And then I turned to everyone else. One more thing. If you're ever in doubt about someone's intentions, record the audio. It saves a lot of time. The room laughed. Even Mom smiled briefly, as if she knew the game was up. Maybe she thought I'd forgive her for smiling. Maybe she hadn't figured it out yet. But I was done. As I left that night, Riley handed me a letter. From Lexi, she said. She's not going to be around anymore. Didn't want it to be weird. Inside the envelope was a thank you note. And a picture of the group chat message where Megan had called me. A bank with feelings. Lexi had replied underneath with one sentence. He's a mirror, Megan. That's why you hate him. I kept that note. Not for revenge. Just as a reminder. Some people spend their whole lives putting on an act. But when you show them the truth, their true reflection, only 2 things happen. They break the mirror. Or they run from it. Megan did both.